All right, I know. I'm pretty late to the Ian party, but I made this beat the other day and I just kind of wanted to get on here and show you guys. It's no secret that Ian has been taking the underground scene by storm as of recently. In my opinion, it's his unique voice and flow, and as well as his ability to select certain types of beats that has brought him so much success. I also have to give a lot of credit to his ability to sort of market himself as just kind of like this regular kid who enjoys making music. Ian has actually been making music for quite a while now, and in my opinion, it's his recent pivot into the trap / glow scene that has really boosted his career. The underground in the past couple of years has been super saturated with synthy, virtual types of beats, and in my opinion, it's just been getting a little bit stale, which is why I've been really enjoying the fact that Ian and his producers such as Soprano have been bringing back this old nostalgic trap sound that you would have heard back in the 2000s and the 2010s era, coming from artists such as Gucci Mane and producers such as Zaytoven. So with all that being said, I'm going to show you guys how I made this trap style beat for Ian. All right, so I got the original FLP pulled up. First things first, we're gonna be at 146 BPM. Usually these beats range from anywhere from 140 to 160. I'm gonna go through each of these stems one by one and break down this loop for you guys first. And then after that, I'm gonna show you guys how I did the drums. So this loop consists of 8 different elements. And one thing I wanna say right away is that a lot of these loops are not using super saturated MIDI patterns. It consists of a lot of different layers kind of acting as their own individual pieces to the melody to then bring it all together as a whole. So for this first sound, I'm going with a simple addictive keys piano. We're using the preset Studio Grand Audience, and we're gonna be in B minor for this loop. So what I did is I went to my view section, went to scale highlighting, selected natural minor, and then B. That way, if you're like me and you don't know shit about music theory, then you can just go ahead and follow these lighter notes and that'll keep you in your scale. So with this piano preset selected, I went ahead and drew in this MIDI pattern, and it really consists of a couple chord stabs and just these drawn out chords. One thing you'll notice in a lot of these Ian beats is the use of repetitive chord stabs. That introduces a pretty solid rhythm to the whole loop. So this is what the first sound is sounding like. So like I said before, a lot of these MIDI patterns are pretty simple. They're not doing a whole lot. So this next sound is coming from my boy A Shark's Evolution one-shot kit. This is a super crazy kit if you guys want to do anything trap or glow related. So for this sound, we got a pulsating one-shot and it's called New Breath. So I drew in this sort of arpeggiating pattern that has these sort of landing notes at the end of each 2 bars. And one thing, if I'm using any one-shots for this, I always turn the envelope to make sure that the sound is stopping when the MIDI note stops. And this is what it's sounding like. So I'm applying the same concept that I used for that first MIDI in keeping this sort of arpeggiating pattern, but also retaining that sort of chord stabbed feel. Then this next lead, I'm using another one-shot from the Evolution one-shot kit, and it's called Growler 4K. And with this one, I hear a lot of people normally just use this lead kind of as a one instance sort of thing that'll play at the beginning of the bar, but I wanted to try to do something a little bit different and draw an actual lead pattern with it. So this is what I came up with. The next thing I'm using is this Boo Boo Sours one shot. It's from the same Evolution bank and it's in the Evo string section. And again, I'm just reiterating the sort of chord stabbed feeling that the previous first 2 MIDIs had. So you can see the sort of pattern that's developing with this kind of steady rhythm of these chord stabs. So then the next thing I did was I just copied the first MIDI from the piano and put it on a pad. And we're also using another one of these one-shots. It's called Delayed Grat, and it's from the pad section. And with this one shot, I made sure to turn the release pretty high up because I kind of wanted all the notes to blend together like a real pad would. And on this one, it's not gonna sound like how the MIDI looks because I have this preset, again from a Shark kit, his Hammerhead Portal Bank. I'm using the Shark Signature preset. Then I added another Addictive Keys piano, just sort of to add some root notes to the melody and to get some low end involved. So we have this. So the next thing I'm adding is another sort of like lead synth pattern. And I'm using this synth popped from the Poured Up Soda and Terps Monarch kit. And for this MIDI, we just have these two notes that are repeating. And on the effects, I have a Fruity Delay 3 and then just a reverb plugin. So the last thing I added was this phrase. And this phrase, again, is coming from Shark in the Evolution one-shot kit. So let's go ahead and move over to the drums now. So as far as the drums go, we've got 8 different samples. The first one, we got this clap, and I'm using the Clap Gold from that Terps and Soda Monarch kit. The only thing you'll notice is that on this last clap, I adjusted the timing and just moved it over. This adds a little bit of extra bounce. The drum selection for these beats is pretty important because you want them to have that sort of old nostalgic trap feel. And a lot of the sounds back then sound way different than the stuff that like regular trap beats have now. So it's important to find these good kits that you can get those sounds from. So then the next thing, I just laid down the hi-hat pattern, and I'm using the D-Rich hi-hat from the Monarch kit. And we got this. Next thing I added was this open hat, and I'm using the Pinky open hat. And on that, I just have this mixer preset that adds some delay and a phaser, and then I boosted a lot of the highs. So then the next thing I added was this tom sound from a typical 1K kit, and I used this to replace where that original clap would have been on the last section. It's really important to add stuff throughout the beat or throughout the 8 bars that just kind of gives a little bit of variation, so the listener always has something to kind of look forward to or is caught off guard by. Then the next thing I added was another snare from the Monarch kit. Then I went ahead and added another snare from the same Monarch kit. Then the last sort of percussion we have is another snare from the Monarch kit. And I actually saw this technique used in one of Deadboy Aiden's videos. And it was sort of having this like spammed snare on every beat and then adding these ones in between, just a little bit offbeat. Last thing I added was the 808 pattern, and I'm using this 808 turnt from the Monarch kit. So yeah, that's it. That's how I made this Ian trap beat. Let me know what you guys think about it. I think this turned out pretty fire. This might be one of my favorite beats of the month. But yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And I will see you guys later. Peace.